So to continue off on where left off, I then asked Sarah how her friends reacted to her sharing that she was on the autism spectrum. She told me that her new friends were a little bit surprised at first, but overall they were very understanding and accepting of her. Then I interviewed Carrie about this time during Sarah's life, and my main question was why Carrie moved Sarah out of the environment that she was doing well in, because typically children on the autism spectrum have very set schedules that they keep and do not do well with change. Carrie said that she was more than aware of this and had many reservations with moving. However, Carrie got a job and opportunity that she was unable to decline. She informed me that she spent a lot of time discussing the move with Sarah's doctors and specialists and really focused on what would be best for her. Carrie said that she knew the transition into high school was already going to be a big one that Sarah had to go through, and doing the move during that time seemed like the best option for their family. The next part of the interview, we discussed Sarah going to college and how her time at ASU has been. She currently lives alone in a one-bedroom apartment very close to campus. She is in a sorority here at ASU, and that is actually how I came to know Sarah personally. She said that some aspects of college life have been extremely difficult for her, but that overall she really enjoys it and is very happy with her experience. And she said that making friends at ASU has been fairly easy for her, especially through the sorority, and it gives her a more structured social life. Then Carrie told me how proud she was of Sarah and how hard she has worked to get where she is today. She told me that Sarah does still struggle in math and sees a tutor multiple times a week for it. She also informed me that she wishes that ASU had more support for students like Sarah. Carrie said that she visits and checks in on Sarah frequently, but ultimately tries to let Sarah be on her own. And then I had a couple closing questions for Sarah and Carrie. I asked Sarah who she felt most supported by growing up, and her answer had two parts. She said that when it came to being on the spectrum and advocacy, she felt most supported by her mother. However, she told me that she felt closest with her father because he never treated her any differently from her other siblings. And then I asked her if she could change one thing about her life, what would it be? And she told me that she would wish she would have moved to Phoenix sooner. I then finished off the interview by asking why she agreed to do this interview with me, and she told me that she wanted more people to understand her and that she always felt really supported by me and wanted to share the same support. And then my final questions for Carrie was, what was the hardest part of raising Sarah for her? Carrie told me that not being able to fully understand how Sarah's brain worked was most difficult. No matter how much research and time she spent trying to understand Sarah, she never fully could. And then I asked Carrie if there's one thing about her parenting that she would change. She told me that she would have tried to find a better balance between spending time with Sarah and spending time with her other two children. She said that it took her a really long time to understand that her other children, not on the spectrum, needed just as much attention as Sarah did. I then closed out the interview by asking why she decided to be interviewed, and she told me that she thought this interview would help her to better understand Sarah, and that is something that is extremely important to her. And then to look at the models of disability that best relates to this topic, it is the spectrum model of disability. And then my interview with Sarah and Carrie gave me a really deep and to close out the presentation, my interview with Sarah and Carrie gave me a really deep and personal understanding of someone with autism. I think that this was very beneficial for me to include in my research because it allowed me to gain an understanding for this disability in a way that is different from others. Sarah's story is something that will impact me for a very long time. From my research on multimedia use in classrooms and from my interview with Sarah and Carrie, and from my research on models of disability, I found that there's a real need for more advocacy in classrooms for children with disabilities. Thank you. That is the end of my presentation.